We are moving our discussion now to fear. Fear can be a healthy thing and it can be an unhealthy thing. I think fear is one of those things that keeps us alive. I have a great fear, for example, of heights, an even greater fear of snakes, an even greater fear of all things Brussels sprouts. This fear has kept me alive all of these years, and I will continue to be afraid of these things. At the same time, fear keeps us from doing things, and in that regard, it can be unhealthy. As a child, one of my great fears was that the Soviet Union would invade. I grew up in Florida, and it was beaten into us over and over and over again that our greatest danger was from the Soviets and the communists, and they would come up from Cuba and invade our town in Central Florida. And so we would hide under desks as if that would protect us from any invasion that might come. That fear, though, paled in comparison to the fear my mom could create in me and my brother when she said, "Don't make me tell your father when he comes home." It always happened when we were doing something and we had gotten on her last nerve, and she was at the point where she could no longer punish us anymore. "Don't make me tell your father when he gets home." Now, I have no idea why that created fear in us. Our father never did anything. We weren't beaten. It was just one of those things that she said, and I think mothers of that time said as well. In the biblical story, at least in the Old Testament story, probably the greatest fear is that our brothers and sisters would be sent back to Egypt, sent back to that place that they were slaves, sent back to that place where they lived before they were their own community, having their own set of rules, their own set of government, their own set of way of being. When it comes up in the Bible in the Old Testament, it doesn't come up very much, but every time it does, it kind of makes you just stop and take notice, because you know what's going on, and the story at least is big. Think about your fears. What are they? Your great ones. What are they centered in, and what are their costs?